My Thing Is. I'm your host, Nicole Birch, where every week I bring you someone who shares a life-changing event, the medicine they took to get better, and the funniest lesson they learned along the way. We are going to be touching on that, but as you know, sometimes I bring a healer onto the show, and today I am doing that. Today, welcome my special guest, Dr. Jessica Hochman.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you're here.
I'm so happy to be here.
I know. I was trying to think how we met. I mean, I think we've only met in person. This is our second time meeting in person. But it was after the pandemic, right?
It was during the pandemic,
Yeah.
or things were still happening.
Right. And I think I just started following you. Was that it?
I think that's initially how we connected.
Yeah.
Through Instagram, but then we met in person once.
I know. At
a bar.
Augustine's, right?
At Augustine's Wine Bar.
Augustine's, it's no longer there. It's like a shop now or something. Like it burned to the ground. That was my favorite wine place.
That's so sad. I did not know that.
Yeah, it did.
That's a bummer.
I know.
I
was devastated. I was like, they're going to bring it back. They're going to bring it back. And then I just drove by it the other day and it's a whole building now.
But that was fun. That was fun to see you in real life.
Yes.
After seeing you on the screen once.
I know. I felt the same way. Okay. So as you know, we talk about life-changing events. Is there one you'd like to share?
So I was thinking about this because there are things that I could share, but probably maybe best not to share.
Shouldn't? Okay, got it.
But I was thinking a good one that did definitely change my life was getting into medical school, that process.
Okay. Yes.
So I will tell you that my whole life I was very driven. I've always been dedicated to school, very focused on school. And when I was in college and I decided to go to medical school, I was all in.
Okay.
That was my.
Does it run in the family or is it?
It does run in the family.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
My dad's a pediatrician.
Wonderful.
So I did grow up around medicine.
Got it.
But my parents never said anything to me. They never put pressure on me.
Got it.
But myself, I was very, very driven.
Great.
It's always been maybe my flaw and a good characteristic.
Got it. A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Shades, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good and bad. But anyway, so when I was in college, I was all about going to medical school, to the detriment of, probably not going out enough as a college student.
Right.
Probably spending too much time studying, less on social activities, just really focused on going to medical school. I was like known as the girl that wanted to go to medical school.
Right. Everybody knew that's what you were. I had a girl like that in my sorority. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. She was just like, from the day she said, she's like, I don't even need to do gen eds. I know exactly what I'm going to do.
Was she such an annoyance to be around?
No. In fact, we had a lot of classes together because I was also pre-med, but unlike you, I did do a lot of partying and it showed up because I had a academic full ride for the first 2 years, but then I lost it because I partied too much.
Good for you. And 2 years?
Yeah. So this is where we start to, after a few organic cell, gen cell bios, after a few of those classes, I was like, don't think I can keep up with this curriculum and partying. Not to say that I could keep up with that curriculum anyway. And now she's a very successful radiologist.
That's great. Everybody ended up in the path that was meant for them.
Where we're supposed to be.
Yes.
Okay. So you were really devoted to doing it. And then what happened?
Yeah, so I was really devoted to doing it and I studied all the time. I did all the classes. I was all in. And then always lurking in the back of my mind was this test, the MCAT. The MCAT at the time was only offered twice a year. A lot of people talked about how the MCAT was everything. That score and your GPA determined if you're going to go to medical school.
Yes.
So it started to come into my head how much, the pressure of the MCAT was always lurking in the back of my mind. I was thinking about it a lot. And when it came time to study for it, I studied a lot.
Right.
I mean, I was a crazy person.
Okay.
I took every practice test that you could take.
Yeah.
I studied way too much. I woke up way too early to study. I was all consumed with this stupid test. The MCAT.
No, I hated it. Yeah.
And, it doesn't tell you that you're going to be a good doctor. It doesn't talk to you about bedside manner. It's a lot of organic chemistry and physics, which I use nothing today as a doctor.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Right?
I want to hear that so bad. And by the way, you're a pediatrician. I think I haven't said that
yet.
Okay.
Yes, I'm a pediatrician.
Yeah.
So anyways, and I'm going back now 20 years, but I went, studied a lot for the MCAT all the time, every day, lived and breathed it. Didn't make plans with my friends, thought about it way too much. And then at the time, the test was only offered twice a year.
Right.
I sent my applications out to medical school. I Didn't take it the first day that it was offered. I had to take it the second day. So I said, this is the only day I have to do well today or bust. This is it.
Right.
So I walked in, finally the day of the MCAT. I walked in, sat down. I was very prepared. And all of a sudden, I looked at the clock and I saw the clock start and my ear started ringing. My heart started intensely pounding.
Oh no.
Intensely pounding. My vision went blurry. They passed out the test. I had no idea what I was looking at.
Oh my gosh.
My mouth was dry. I remember feeling like I had no moisture in my mouth. I kept drinking. Pounding of my chest. And I basically, it started off with the reading section. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes. I mean, I took it. They still had the essay section. Now they don't.
Okay. Yeah. They had an essay section.
Yep.
Anyways, long story short, I totally bombed the MCAT.
Oh God.
It was
You
like
had a full panic attack.
I had a true panic attack. The first panic attack I've ever had in my whole life.
Yeah.
And it was like I fulfilled the prophecy that I put that pressure on myself to do so well, thinking I have to do well today. And I didn't. I did the opposite. And I totally bombed it.
Right.
Needless to say, did not get into any medical schools. And I had sort of an identity crisis.
For sure.
Thinking like, is this what I want to do? I had to rethink, do I really want to go to medical school?
Right.
Am I not good enough for it?
Mm-hmm.
Was there a reason why I had a panic attack?
Because it's like what you surrounded your whole self with was that ideal of that.
Whole self.
Right.
Yeah. Which is kind of sad thinking back that was my whole self. A lot of lessons to be learned from that because, I definitely was not balanced in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So then I didn't know what to do. I was honestly depressed. Didn't know what to, I had planned my whole life, just thinking about all consumed with medical school. And then when I didn't get in, I didn't know what to do.
Right.
So I was grumpy, I was unhappy, and I decided, I talked to some advisors and I decided, why not try to get a master's or do something? I didn't know if I should go to medical school in the Caribbean. That wasn't going to work out.
Yeah. No, I was given what about Mexico?
Yeah.
I was given that option. Yeah, of course.
I'm like, I don't know about Mexico.
And then my dad was like, you could be a DO instead of an MD.
Same.
You could be all of this stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Thought about all of that. Yeah. Should I go to Mexico, the Caribbean, DO, PA?
Yes.
But so I thought, you know what? I'm going to do a fresh start. I'm going to rethink this. Maybe it's not meant to be.
Right.
And I thought I'll just try and get a master's. There was a master's program in Boston where you could dabble in some medical school classes. So get a taste for it.
Okay.
And also get a master's. And I thought this will let me know if this is really what I want to do.
What was the master's for? What would it be for?
It was called medical science.
Okay.
I ended up doing some research in low carbohydrate diets, which were very in at the time. And I thought maybe this will be my path.
Great.
Maybe I'll do something totally different.
Great. Would that normally turn into like a PA or a...
No, I don't even know.
Oh, you don't even know. Okay, got it. Okay. But you'd have a master's.
I'd have a master's.
Okay.
It was like, I was literally not sure, crisis, didn't know what to do.
Just pick, go.
Pick, go.
Now, where were you living at the time before you moved to Boston?
So I was living in Los Angeles, and you have to understand, I've always been like an Angelino, a proud Angelino.
Right.
My parents went to UCLA.
Yeah.
I went to UCLA. I love Los Angeles. It's a bad trait of mine, but I love LA. I never pictured myself going anywhere but California for school.
Boston.
And I went to Boston and I was not excited about it.
Yeah.
I'd never been there before.
Right. It's clear across the country. It's cold.
Across the country, cold. It just felt like they have an accent.
Yeah.
Wasn't something I was looking forward to. I just, liked Los Angeles.
Right.
I liked the weather. I liked the people. I didn't know a soul in Boston. So, and at this time when I moved there, this is 2003. Nobody had good cell phones.
Right.
There wasn't.
Oh yeah. It was like
they were
barely coming out. Yeah.
I remember I called 1-800-mattress to get a mattress delivered when I moved there.
Yes.
Yes. I was lonely. But anyways, so moving there ended up being a really good thing for me because I was more balanced. I started hanging out with more friends, doing different things, exploring Boston. I enjoyed my master's program. I started studying at a different pace, a little bit more normal.
Yeah.
Where I still, I was dating. I rarely dated in college, and in
Right.
Boston, I picked up my social life.
I love this.
You
I
do?
love this story
Thank
because you were
you.
like worried about it. And I'm like, no, this is like, because I think had you gotten the MCAT the first time and I think, I mean, your life wouldn't have opened up, Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Definitely.
Yeah, I think it needed to happen.
Thank
Okay,
you.
keep
Thank
going,
you.
Keep going.
So yeah, I didn't even know where Boston was on the map. Wasn't
Right.
in my life plan. But then I, moved to Boston. I made some good friends. I started going to Red Sox games. They won the World Series the year that I
Oh
moved
my
there.
God, that's awesome.
Broke the curse. I mean, I just had a great time.
All right.
I retook the MCAT. And I did fine. And I ended up getting into medical school. And then fast forward, my first week of medical school, the very first week I was there, I met my husband.
Was this in Boston too?
In Boston,
okay,
yeah.
Great.
He's from Massachusetts, which
I
ended up
love
being,
it.
great. I dated enough LA guys, so this was a good change.
Mm-hmm.
No offense to
no
LA
offense
guys,
to the
but
LA.
yeah.
I mean, married a guy from Dallas, so yeah, that's fine.
You get it.
Yeah.
Met my husband the first week of school, of medical school. I met my husband. I met some best friends that I still have to this day.
Yeah.
And now I really feel like I got a lot of good life lessons from that experience.
Right.
Because what I had dreaded so much happened, and it turned out to really be not only fine, but the best thing for me.
Right.
Because had I not bombed the MCAT, I would never have met my husband. I really enjoyed my time in Boston. It definitely enriched my life. It was a great life experience. I think about it all the time.
Right.
And I also think, honestly, it made me a better pediatrician, because when it comes to things like anxiety, I can relate tremendously.
Oh, absolutely. And you wouldn't have had that experience. Yeah.
I would not have had that experience. No. I mean, I always was a little bit, everybody experiences anxiety, but to the point where it was really affecting my life. It was really physical. Like I felt it physically.
Yeah.
And I think it definitely has made me a better doctor.
Right.
And now I'm really grateful that I had that experience, because I would never have spread my wings, branched out of LA.
Yes. I love that. Mine was, I took the MCAT, and like we talked, like I did look up, because I know now they don't have the essay on there. So I know I didn't know what my actual score was, because it goes from 472 to 528, but I know I scored in the 57th percentile.
That's not, 57th?
Yeah.
50, so you could have been 0.
Yeah, it could have been 0. But I scored in like the 57th percentile for all the math and science. And I scored in the 99th percentile on the essay. And all my advisors, they loved me, except one of them, the Gen Cell Bio guy, who actually taught my dad, because I went to my dad's alma mater as well.
Where did you go?
Oh, I went to Washburn University. It's a D2 school in Topeka, Kansas, but Washburn University, shout out. But my dad had gone there, and my dad was a football player and had a reputation. And when I started the first class, he's going through the roster, and he goes, Nicole Birch. And he goes, "You're not related to Larry, are you?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's my dad." He goes, "He put my car on the roof."
Wait,
so
really?
They took a crane and
True
they put
story?
his car, the whole football team put his car on the roof of this like short building. Anyway, so I was like, I call my dad. I'm like, "Who?" And he's like, "That guy's still there." And I was just like, "Oh God, this is not."
Was that story a surprise to you?
No, I mean, my dad was kind of like a wild child, and he was like really athlete, very jockey. Yeah, so that didn't actually surprise me. I just did not need my professor in one of the hardest programs to know that about me. And then when I got the 99th percent, I mean, for years, because I went through that, I was stubborn, and I'd had advisors that say, "Hey, we love having you in class. You're such a delight." But you're getting like C's and D's pretty consistently. And this might not be for you. I'm like, "Have you thought about journalism?" And like, they kept, thought about like something like in entertainment or something. And I was like, "Nope, this is what I want to do." I went to Honduras when I was 17. I delivered a baby. I was like, because I worked with a program, and I got to deliver a baby. And that was wild. And so from that moment, that's when I was like, "Oh, I want to be a doctor."
Amazing.
And I mean, amazing in the sense, but again, this was the trajectory I thought that I was going to go on, and now I'm telling dick jokes on stage. You know what I mean? It's very different. And so I remember when I got the 99th percentile, the advisor who really liked me, he goes, "This is your proof Like, you see that? And he goes, you've given like 3.5 years to this. And I think maybe you need to take your minor in Spanish, make it your major so you can graduate on time. And I was like, sounds good. Great. I'm going to go into real estate. Like, I didn't know. So for like years, I like sifted, and then I moved out when I was 27. But we have those plans, and they're like set in stone. I know exactly what I want to do. I mean, I knew who I was in my head. I knew who I was going to marry. I was going to marry, somebody that did Doctors Without Borders. We were going to travel the world together, fixing cleft lip palates. That was the whole thing, right? Yeah. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah,
my dad,
I follow that dream. I get it. Yeah.
My dad wanted me to be a plastic surgeon who was just rich. That's what he wanted. And I was like, I'd be doing plastic surgery, just not rich. And then that didn't happen, and it's always works out for the best in what it's supposed to do. So like, this is the lesson of like letting go. But no, I love your story. That's the best case scenario. And you met your husband. So when you think of Boston now, you have fun, like you like Boston, you have fun memories.
Life-changing.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds so cliche, but it's so true. I started medical school. I met my husband at a bar. I looked at him and I'm like, I think this could be my husband. That night, I met my best friend, someone who I talk to all the time. One of my best friend from medical school, who I love dearly. We met that same week.
Yeah.
And it ended up being a really, really great time. I highly recommend, traveling out, spending time outside of the comfort zone of
whatever bubble you
grew up in. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I have go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say though, I think, you do a nurse impersonation.
Which is, I didn't even think about that until you just said it. That's right.
But I wonder if your medical background has helped you with this.
Maybe. And see, I do so the thing is also, every woman in my family is a nurse. Like, I've got like 8 nurses in my family, and that one is based on my cousin Rachel.
See, this is making sense.
So now it's full circle.
You've got your dad's jokester
yeah.
personality combined with
oh my gosh. And now she's going to go on tour
background.
soon, which is crazy. It's going to be like Larry the Cable Guy. It's so weird. I would have never.
Is she really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I did a corporate gig. Please. I did a corporate gig in Michigan where I was like, it was for a radiology office, and it was their 2 offices combined for a Christmas party. And one of their PAs was retiring after 47 years. And so they have me come, and I was like, do you want me to come as Nurse Rachel? And they're like, oh, we'll let you know at the last minute. It ended up being a black tie event. So I was like, thank God they did not want me to come. I think it would have actually been funnier, but I do all my Nurse Rachel stuff, and it kills. And I was like, oh no.
You found your niche.
I found my niche, which is not the niche. Again, the universe choosing for me on where they think I should go, and just listening to the universe. That's
and not to say you'll definitely branch out or you'll do something different at some point, but it's great to follow.
You're right. I didn't even put that together. That's great.
The MCATs weren't for naught.
Weren't for naught. Okay, let's see. This is what I was going to ask. Why pediatrics?
Oh, okay. Well, honestly, at first I did not want to do pediatrics. Okay. I went to medical school and I said, no. I said, my dad's, I know what that's about. My dad's a pediatrician. I grew up with this. I respect my dad tremendously. He's my role model, but I see him get calls in the middle of the night. People call all the time. People call their pediatrician. They worry about their kids. It's understandable. Right. But I remember thinking, I don't want to be him where he gets wakened all night talking to worried parents. I don't know. I just wanted to do something different.
Right.
And my mom was always complaining about his job. Like, he works so hard and he gets so many phone calls and should have done plastic surgery or dermatology.
They can make their own schedule.
Yeah. And so I did not want to do it. I want to do something. Also, you just want to do something different, I think, than your parents.
Right.
Just normal, individuating.
Absolutely.
From your upbringing. So I went to medical thinking I'm going to do anything but pediatrics. I went in thinking I would do, maybe ENT, ear, nose, and throat. Or I really like psychiatry. I love working with people.
Yes.
OBGYN was high on my list. I just like women's health.
Right.
Went in thinking everything but pediatrics.
Right.
And then I went through all my rotations and I thought adults were really boring. I thought they complained all the time.
Yeah.
Psychiatry people were just a little bit too cuckoo for me. It was like a little too much.
Yeah.
And then I did anesthesiology. They talk about in medical school, the road to happiness. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
The fields that make the most money are the road to happiness. So R for radiology, O for ophthalmology, A for anesthesiology, and D for dermatology.
I did not know that.
Yeah, the road is where the money is, where the lifestyle is. So
Okay.
everybody says you gotta look for the road.
Okay.
So I
love
tried,
that.
I thought about it. Radiology, I thought was so boring. I was like, get me out of this dark room.
Right.
I need some sunlight. I need some people. You don't
Right.
talk to anybody.
You just read scans. Yeah.
You just read scans. Ophthalmology was also like the eye. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just not
It's
for
very
me.
specific.
Very
Yeah.
specific. Anesthesia, also just so boring. You put people to sleep. I like talking to people.
Yeah.
Not for me. Not for me. You know, I have my brother-in-law, my best friend from medical school that I told you about initially. She's an anesthesiologist. They love their job. Just didn't feel
Right.
feel
For
good
you.
to me.
Right.
Anyways, I did pediatrics, and I just love the kids. They're goofy. They're silly.
Yeah.
They don't want to be sick. You know, unlike adults who love to talk about their ailments.
Right. Right.
They just want to be kids, and I just I love their energy. I love being around them,
Yeah.
and I figured I just can't fight my genetics. It's
Yeah.
just,
And by the way, you have a podcast.
I do have
and
a podcast.
it's
It's called Your Child is Normal.
I love that title so much.
Thank you.
Because when you changed it, I was
You're
like
so
that.
sweet.
Well, because it's like so like the brand, the marketing, all the business side of it. But as a mom who just, when you first announced that that's what it was going to be called, I was like, okay, that's what we need. Because
Thank you.
all you're seeing on social media now is what's wrong with your kid. Don't do this. Make sure you
Yes.
don't give them this. Don't do these supplements. Do these. And it's like, you're just hearing all the ways you could possibly mess up your kid. And you're like, dude, just take a breath. Your kid's
Enjoy.
fine. Yeah.
Yes.
Enjoy.
Yes. I mean, I feel like I think it's my counter to the current climate now, which is
Yeah.
clickbait, right? Everything is
Yes.
let me make you worry so
Mhm.
that you click
Yeah.
about everything. Like, let me make you nervous and feel like something's going disastrously wrong with your child.
Right.
So you click. And so it's probably not the best for, clickbait to tell you that your kid's going to be okay.
Yeah.
But I just realized like most of my time as a pediatrician where I feel good is I'm often reassuring people.
Right.
You know, I'm often trying to show them that their kid, like maybe we can make suggestions, do this or that, but that ultimately their kid's going to be okay. That's the luxury of being a pediatrician, is that's most often the case.
Yeah.
And also, who wants to be the same? Like, every kid should be different. You don't want to live in a universe where everybody is the same, has the same interests, acts the same.
Right. And by the
Right?
way, when I started following you, there were 3 things, like you did 3 episodes, and I swear, I was like, is Everly hearing what you're talking about? Because like,
Really?
you're like, let's talk about croup. And 2 days later she'd have croup. And it's like, let's talk about sinus infection. And then she'd have a sinus. And I was like, what
Oh,
is it?
good.
It was like 3 in a row. And
I'm
I was
so
like,
glad.
well, I have now a manual to go back to
Oh, thank
assess
you.
that.
Thank
But
you.
I also think, I know,
I'm so glad. That's my goal.
yeah, but it's also like you said, it might not be clickbait. Actually, I think because there's so much negative out there, it makes me want to tune in more to yours.
Oh, I appreciate
Does that make sense? Like,
Thank you.
Because I'm just like,
My goal literally when I record something, because I don't actually like being on screens. Like, that's not my natural.
okay,
My natural.
well, you're great at it. But
Thank you. But
Yeah.
I just tell myself literally the mantra, like, you never know who you're going to help.
Yeah.
Who am I helping? And then I try to go by the reason why maybe it clicked with Everly's group is if I see a theme in my office, what's coming in, so maybe I saw a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of
she
croup
was
that
getting
week,
whatever you were. Absolutely,
and
it was
then I
like
just-
definitely
what I
coming
see
around
what's
the
trending,
corner.
and then I just try to do something to help people out there.
Yeah. Well, she has a sty on her eye now.
Oh, she
so,
does? I have a
yeah,
podcast episode on that.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna listen to
I'll
it.
send
Okay.
it to
Okay.
you.
Good. Because I kept thinking, did you get hit in the face? What is happening? Because she's like, my eye hurts. My eye hurts.
It's like a pimple on the eye.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
I'll send you
Please
some
send it to
info.
me. Send it
Yes.
to me.
But thank you for your kind words. You've always been very encouraging
I
and
love
very
it.
positive. So
and the stuff
likewise, I
maybe
appreciate it.
that's when I started following you. I think you had something with Drew Pinsky, maybe. Did you?
Oh,
have something
maybe.
with Drew?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. He's a family friend.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
adore him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I used to say I had a big crush on him, and you're like, I think you were like, oh, we just hung out, and I was like, what? Oh my god, I was obsessed with him.
Yeah. No, but I think also during COVID, that's when I started feeling really like things need to change because COVID was a very scary time. The world was
Right.
shut down.
Right.
And I feel terrible because bad things happened. People got sick.
Absolutely, yeah.
But children were honestly the most under-discussed, protected group of people during that whole time.
Right.
During that whole time.
Right.
And I think we really did a disservice to parents. We made them really worry about their kids.
Yeah.
And we knew very early on that kids were doing fine.
Right.
Um,
I just kept
It just
watching the
was-
CDC numbers, and you can come after me all you want, but like when they're masking my 2-year-old, I was like, and they masked LA mask. Well, maybe not even LA, the school we had her going to. ended up having her masked an extra like 6 months, even after LA called it off. And I was like, yeah, we're not, well, let us know when you lift that because we're not coming. And then now she has a speech delay. So
I think there's endless to worry about if you want to. If you let yourself
Yeah.
spend all your time worrying, it doesn't get you anywhere. Like my really good friend's grandpa used to say, worrying is like being in a rocking chair. You can do it all day long, but it gets you nowhere.
Oh, that's great.
And it takes you away from enjoying life, right? This is,
Right.
I mean, I think about that all the time. Like life is not forever, I don't think.
Yeah.
And what do we want to get out of it? Do we want to?
Yeah, we went to Kansas City for like we intended to go for 2 weeks. And then because we were like, that's how long a pandemic lasts,
In the
right?
beginning.
2 weeks. Yeah, sure. 2 weeks.
That's what they said, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then we ended up staying 5.5 months on my mom's 5 acres. And the temperature in Kansas City was very different. The fear temperature was very different than it was out here. And my mom also lives like 20 minutes outside of the city, more rural, right?
Yes.
So people were still like, you could go eat in a restaurant where the tables separated a bit further. Yes. Did you have to wear a mask to your table and from your table, which is so funny? Yes, that's what we were doing. But
it was open.
But it was open
Yeah.
and there was community and and my cousin has a 200-acre farm. And like we thrived during then because
Amazing.
I would have been back to work full time at that point. And instead we had 5 months where she was from 6 months old to basically her first birthday. And we had that,
And how great for your daughter.
I know. And my
How
mom,
special.
I mean, my mom was just like, I get these years. They get these months with her. This is amazing.
My favorite thing is when there's lemons that turn to lemonade.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's exactly what
amazing.
happened. That's exactly what happened.
precious time for your
Yeah.
family for your mom to have that time with
Yeah.
Everly.
It was great.
That is
Again, the universe just like taking over. Let me think. I've got some. Here's some common questions. Okay. Who has been your favorite guest so far? Or is there a guest that stands out that maybe taught you something?
On my podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Lenore Skenazy.
Okay. Oh,
I'm
hands down. Okay.
I adore her. Shout out to Lenore Skenazy. She has been, they say never meet your heroes. I'm so grateful to have met her. Have you heard
Okay.
about the Jonathan Haidt book, Anxious Generation?
Oh yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's been making the rounds. I think it's been one of the number one seller this
Oprah
year.
like mentioned it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he acknowledges she's, I think, his first or second acknowledgement, how much she influenced him. She talks about free range kids, letting kids be kids.
Yes.
She got in trouble from the media for letting her son take the New York subway by himself. She got famous for that.
Okay.
When he was 9 years old, he said, "Mom, can I take the subway by myself?"
Yeah.
And she let him, and she's familiar with the New York subway system. She grew up there. She let him take it one stop, no problem.
I know a lot of friends who do that.
Yeah.
With kids like 8 and up. So yeah.
She felt okay about it. She said, "My child asked for it."
Yeah.
Next thing she knew, she's a journalist. She wrote about it, and she was all of a sudden,
Oh no.
all over the news. They were calling her world's worst mom.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, she's turned this into a movement where she wants kids to have more free range time, less screen time, more free range time, more
Yes,
independence.
outside, yeah.
And I am all about her movement, and
Yeah.
she's just funny and she's good.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to
and
check out. We'll put that in the link on the YouTube. If you guys watch it on YouTube, we'll put the link to that episode.
Yeah, that was a favorite.
Yeah. That's great.
That's the fun part of podcasting, is getting to meet really interesting people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Free range kids.
Let's see. What is the most common question you get asked by parents? Or is there like a general theme as a pediatrician?
I think a lot of parents want to know, is it normal?
Right.
My kid got a lot of colds this year. Is this a normal immune system? Are things going okay?
Right.
I think parents just want to make sure their kids are going to be okay.
Right.
So
The worry stuff.
yes,
How does being a pediatrician affect your parenthood? How many kids do you have? 3?
I have 3.
Yes.
I have
Okay.
3. I think it's very helpful, actually. I think I get to talk. I know what trends are happening, and I get to
Right.
bring it home.
Right.
And I'll see what clothing they're wearing. I ask what music kids like, and so I think it keeps me a little bit hipper than I might otherwise be.
I see. Yeah. And does it? Because I have a girlfriend. I think she's got 4 kids now. We went to high school together. She's a pediatrician now, and we're going to reunite when I go back to Kansas City. But I said something to her like, let's do a play. She goes, let's do a play date with all of our kids. And I only have 1, but like, she goes, just so you know, my kids are wild. And I was like, really? And she goes, yeah, they're outside all the time. They're like, they're feral. And I just started laughing. And she goes, why are you laughing? I was like, well, because you're a pediatrician, I would think. And she goes, oh, it's because I know nothing. She goes, I know they're made of Teflon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's so true.
Is that kind of your
Oh, yeah.
You're not like, I feel like you can't be overly worried if you're a pediatrician because you've seen everything.
I mean, absolutely. I think the things that a lot of parents worry about, I don't.
Right.
Colds, for example, basic sicknesses, for
Right.
example, falling off a bike.
Yeah.
I don't worry about those things
Right.
because I know it's good for them. I know kids they're like rubber. They fall, they
Yeah.
get back up. They're
Yeah.
supposed to get better. And
They
that's
get-
the fun of childhood.
Yeah.
And if I keep them in a bubble, if they're not getting sick, if they're not getting bumps and bruises or scrapes, then I know that means I'm not letting them live. Right. I mean, that means to me, like, are they on video games all day? Am I keeping them at home too much? That's not a childhood.
Right.
So those things I actually welcome. I probably worry. I've worried about rare things that I'm sure the average person doesn't think about.
Okay.
Like
what?
Like when this is an example, but
Yeah.
the first time when my firstborn, who's now 14, when she was a baby, kids have a soft spot on the top of their head.
Right.
And I did not feel a soft spot. Like after a couple of months, I couldn't feel one. And I envisioned her having, skull surgery, something called
Right.
craniosynostosis. That's something that I'm sure that word is not on most people's
People's
minds.
mind? Yeah, because you're
But
so
I-
educated that
but
you're
I-
like,
yeah.
this is an option.
Yeah. But she's fine. She's fine.
she's-
But I did
she's
worry
14.
a lot about that.
Yeah.
So-
That's okay. That's interesting because it could be.
But yeah,
Both
your
sided.
friend and I, I'd be very excited
Oh
to
yeah,
get together.
I'm
with
so
her.
excited to let
Let our kids
Everly
be feral.
roughhouse with them. Yeah, I
It's the
love
best.
that.
And that's what kids love. It's like
Yeah.
that's their child. That's a beautiful childhood.
Yeah. I mean, trying to keep Everly in a bubble first. She doesn't have the personality for it anyway. She wouldn't let me, even if I tried. But she also has boy energy, so you got to let that one run.
You have
She's
to.
like a stallion.
I know. And the part that gets to me is now a lot of parents think that personality or that energy isn't normal, right? Because maybe they don't fit in the typical
Mhm.
classroom where kids have to sit down and listen
Yeah.
and pay attention. And that's not every kid.
I have a nephew. So my sister lives in Kansas City. I have a nephew, and she goes, the teachers always say maybe there's like an ADHD thing. She goes, but I noticed they only say it in November and December when they can't
interesting.
go outside and play because it's snowing, right? And I was
Yeah.
like, that's crazy, because when you let Dakota run, he runs and he can burn the energy out, and then he'll sit still and he'll do his homework. Because all of them said it's not that he's not doing his work. It's just that when he's cooped up inside,
He's got energy.
He gets energy and he gets antsy. And I'm like, yeah, that's normal.
Totally normal.
And I'm so glad my sister saw the pattern.
I'm too.
Yeah.
I am too, because a lot of, not to say some kids definitely have ADHD. They
Right.
benefit from medications. I'm not saying that there's not
Right, of course.
that group of
Right.
kids. However, I think for sure many people over pathologize their kids as having ADHD, where
For
it's
sure.
just normal kid energy.
Right.
Where maybe they just need to run around a little bit more and play more, and then
Yeah.
they'll be able to come and listen to a story.
Exactly. Yeah.
So-
Last question.
Yes.
How does what do you wish, is there something you wish parents knew?
So much.
I
But I
know.
think I would say, have some fun with your kids. Like, don't be so serious.
Yeah.
Not everything, we should be lighter,
Right.
right? Like, come home and joke around with your kids, have a dance
Yeah.
party. Don't talk about schoolwork a lot.
Play.
Play.
Yeah.
Like, enjoy.
I've heard a lot
Have
lately,
fun.
and just that play will get you more, even like mothers are more there, are better at consoling and that kind of, and men get their oxytocin or something from active play with kids. But then I just saw a podcast the other day where it said that if a mother could play more,
Play
if
more.
a mother's just play more.
Yeah. I mean, of course we have to have our boundaries and our rules, but
right.
put your phone away and
Yeah.
play with your kid. And
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be what they like. You can pick something that you like doing.
Right.
It doesn't have to be, you get down and you, I don't
Yeah.
know, do magnet
Yeah, I'm not good
tiles.
I wasn't good with Barbies. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not good with that kind of stuff. But what I do know is because I did groundlings, I have a case of wigs and I have a bunch of costumes.
Amazing.
And we can play characters that way and we have a blast.
That sounds so much fun.
Yeah.
That sounds so much
So
fun.
just find something that you'd
yeah,
actually
find a
like
common
doing.
ground. Like,
Yeah.
I like music. My kids like music. So we do that a lot.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, enjoy it. Enjoy this
Right.
time, because it's so cliche,
It's so short.
but it's so short. Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share?
I mean, I could talk to you all day, but
I know.
no, I would say, yeah, just remember if, enjoy your kids. Don't let society put messages in your head that there's something wrong with them.
Right.
Enjoy them, trust your gut. I would say a lot of parents, I think now, rely too much on the opinions of other people.
Yeah.
And if your gut tells you that things are okay or that your kid would benefit from something else, listen to that voice.
Right. Where can people follow you and the podcast?
They can follow me on Instagram, on the gram. It's Ask Dr. Jessica.
Right.
And my podcast is called Your Child is Normal. You can scroll through. I have, I think, like 180 episodes now.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. There's something in there for everybody. So there's a lot of episodes, a lot of information, and it's all meant to not fearmonger,
Right.
to give you quality information and to calm down the temperature.
That's so many episodes. I'm so proud of you. That's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It was just fun to see you.
I know. Good. As you guys know, you can follow me at The Funny Thing Is, or you can check us out wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, you can follow me at NicoleBirchComedy.com or at Nicole Birch Comedy on all socials. All right. We'll see you next week.
I want to come to your tour.